Good evening, this is Ali Tarnishi at Connect with Ali show. Our show focuses on cultural education and raising awareness to inspire a positive change in our community. And let's dive together with my guests to support and to get really understand what does D.I.C.E mean from Canadian and immigrant perspective. Please help me today to welcome my guests, Krista, Colleen, and Diana Tenhab. Welcome.
Thank you.
Please tell us a little bit about Krista. Who is Krista? So we get to know who is Krista, and tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Great. So my name's Krista. I'm originally from Vancouver, BC. I moved to Moncton, New Brunswick about 5 years ago.
Okay.
I've worked in nonprofits for the last decade or so. So my work in Moncton has been as executive director of D.I.C.E Cooperative, and from there I've worked in economic development, and now I run my own business. So I work with nonprofit organizations, and I help them stay organized and on task while achieving their mission and vision.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Krista. Nice to have you. Diana, tell us a little bit about yourself, and who is Diana?
Yeah, so I'm Diana, and we moved to New Brunswick, Canada about 18 years ago, and we are my husband Robert and our sons Jens and Lars, and yeah, we settled in, and after a little while I started a newcomers group, and that's how I
that was 2 years ago,
yes, and it was so much fun. Then I decided to go back to school, and I'm now a natural doctor and a spiritual counselor based on interfaith.
Amazing.
Yes.
Love it.
So I own my own business.
Nice. So we all have like business owner, self-employed, and just entrepreneur. Go entrepreneur. So tell us a little bit, lady, about diversity. What does diversity, inclusion, equity mean to you?
Are you starting?
And yeah, diversity, inclusion, and also we have Hussein Olivier from Ottawa joining us through Vimix. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Hussein. Who is Hussein Olivier?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the invitation, Ali. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. My name is Olivier Hussein. I'm a young man from Moncton. I'm a Canadian, original from D.I.C.E, so Democratic Republic of Congo. I immigrated in Moncton with my family. It's been about 12 years ago. I do study my high school in Moncton, D.I.C.E, and I went to Université de Moncton. And now I am in Ottawa, continuing my study here at Ottawa U. Also, I'm working so on the immigration field.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us, Hussein, all the way from Ottawa. So my question is, what does diversity, inclusion, and equity mean to you? Like, three of you, what does, whoever want to go first? Lady first.
I had a bit of time to think about it. So diversity, I guess, well, there's a lot to say about it, but I think it's the spice of life, like a tapestry, and it really makes life very interesting. When you can share everything about you, your culture, your background, where you come from, it's like, to me, it's like food. And diversity is a beautiful thing. That's, yeah.
Amazing, I love
it's
that.
what makes life wonderful to me.
Spice of life.
The spice
it's true.
of life.
Just like food.
Otherwise it would be very boring.
Exactly, 100%, 100%.
I feel like that's a very poetic answer.
Yeah, exactly. Just make it so eloquent and so amazing. Flavor of life. Krista, my friend, what does diversity, inclusion, or equity mean to you as a young entrepreneur, as a politician as well? It's just like congratulations on your campaign. We didn't mention that in the election.
Yeah. And, so I guess for me, like, diversity is like the what. So it's our collection of different people in a community, and it's our set of experiences and biases. It's all the the different parts of us that make us who we are. So if that's, our cultural background, our race, our, age, gender, sexual orientation, it's all those things that make up us.
Amazing. I love that. And all the way from Ottawa, Hussein. What does diversity mean to you? Like after, like spice of life, collection of who we are and all that.
Yes, so diversity, what it means for me is the beautiful different culture within here in Canada, like people from different countries, and we're all together, and we all work together. Also, we include in everything we do, like campaigning, doing community work together, engagement. It's very something like it's different cultures, they're doing everything together, and we mixing everything, so that make the beautiful of Canada and the diversity.
Love that. Love it. It's really some diverse, inclusive answer we are getting here. So that will just bring us to the next question. Diversity is a fact, and inclusion is the choice. Diversity is a fact, and inclusion is the choice. What do you think of this? Do you hear that, Hussein?
Yes.
Okay. Just make sure it's everybody here.
I think it's a choice that we all have to make consciously. And I think it's a choice that comes from love. And when we don't include everyone, that you were mentioning everyone, no matter, beliefs, thoughts, lifestyle, sexual orientation, skin color. When we are going to separate ourselves in groups, them and us, that's not from love. That's from fear. And I think that people who are, it's understandable because sometimes it's a survival mode, and sometimes we are brought up that way, that we may be fearing what we don't know. So, but when we go back to our heart and we really want to, what we are all here for is to include everyone and work together, like Hussein said, like really work together to create, a beautiful society.
I love that. When it's coming from love, it's really, it's a meaningful way to include everyone. So diversity is a fact, inclusion is a choice. Your turn. Who want to go? Hussein or Krista?
Do you want to go, Hussein, or I can go first? Okay. So for me, I think diversity is the what, and inclusion is the how. So when I think of inclusion, I think of everyone having an opportunity to have their voice heard and to have the different tools that they need to be able to feel like part of the community, like they're valued, and to be able to give back and to show up as their full selves. And those tools might look different for everyone based on our different experiences, and it's making sure that everyone has that access to what they need to be their full present selves.
I love that. Diversity is the what, and inclusion is the how. And it's true. I love the way you put it. And it's true. Hussein, my friend.
So diversity is a choice because everything we all do, we all have to include diversity in what we do. We do work with people in different cultures, and we do go to school with different people, different cultures. So we are all together, and that make diversity the most like of a power, the beautiful of Canada, as I said before. So we all have to do everything we do in our life include diversity. So we want people who's going to have we grow up with a diversity. So parents have to teaching us about what the different culture is and our communities.
Really amazing answers, and that's what really we want. Like this, by doing this show or by doing this dialogue or conversation, we want this to inspire a positive change and to inspire those kind of open you talk, like spontaneous. We don't feel like I'm afraid I will, but it's about education, get to know each other, and we get to do it from love. And when we get to understand the what, which is what we're talking about, and get to how to implement that, that will just bring us to the next question is, in your opinion, what is the most challenging aspect of working in a diverse environment? In your opinion, this is for the audience as well, what is your most challenging aspect of working in a diverse environment? Leave your comment and we will add it there. Hussein, Krista, Diana, what is the challenge sometimes when we are working really in a diverse environment?
I think this question took me a while to think about, and I think something that I found is just like truly listening to other people. Like, we all have such diverse lived experiences, and I think sometimes it's really hard to let go of that. You know, some people are facing different, you know, they might go to the same places we go, but their experience there might be completely different than our own. And it doesn't mean that your experience is wrong, but you have to be able to listen to other people and what they need, because their needs in an environment might be different than what yours are. So it's really that, like, listening to other people and really making that effort to understand, as opposed to meeting them with that, like, well, you know, no, that's wrong, like, this is my experience, so that must be the same for you. So really that, like, listening, I think, is really important.
Deep listening and get to understand.
Yeah.
Love that. Deep listening is definitely get us to understand each other, because most of the time, sometimes we just get to listen to people without really, we listen so we can reply. We don't listen so we can understand what they want. We don't listen to get what is your point. And each one come from different background, each one come from different culture, and that's make a big difference when we get to understand other people. And look at us here. We listen to each other, we understand each other, and we are all coming from different countries. We have like Congo, we have Vanessa from Congo as well, and Morocco, Netherlands, Canada, Vancouver. So it's all. So as long as we get to understand each other, we get the message across. So I'm just going to repeat that question again, and before we move to the next one, if anybody want to add anything. In your opinion, what is the most challenging aspect of working in a diverse environment? It could be Muslim, it could be Christian, it could be Jew, it could be black, it could be white, it could be Asian. And sometimes when there is diversity in the environment or in the group, it can create a little bit of misunderstanding, but as Krista really shared, is listening. Listening is the key. Listen to understand, listen to get them recognized, listen to get them respected, listen to make them feel they belong. If we don't have anything to add to that question, we can move to the next one, and that will be a little bit, how can we foster to cross-cultural communication at an early age here in our community, or in our home, or in the society? How can we foster cross-cultural communication at an early age? How can we teach our children diversity at an early age, so they can be inclusive, they can be diverse, and they can be equal to each other and to the society? Anybody can jump in. Lady first or man first?
Well, I think it is community-based, so it takes a community to raise a child.
100%.
And when everyone is staying home and maybe scared or just focused on already is known from the background and maybe the culture, then things may not flow so well. But usually people are curious in nature, so, and especially children, and I think children are born loving and neutral. They don't judge. They don't see differences in their friends. They don't see, they don't make a point out of differences that they may observe but not really notice until maybe their surroundings are going to make a big deal out of it. Or when, now it's changing, but in the past, as we know, we only would see Caucasian people on TV and in most TV shows. So then children, they take that in. They may not communicate it, but they think that's the norm. So we need to include everyone in everything in society, and it starts with the children.
100%.
Yes.
100%. Krista, what do you think of what Diana said?
Yeah, I think that's great. What I think of is like, yeah, just that exposure. So the more opportunities that we're able to give to youth, you know, the more that they soak that up. So if it's just like little things like sharing different, you know, languages and, you know, learning about like LGBTQ issues and, you know, learning about gender and stuff like that, like all of these, you know, learning about different cultures, all of these different things that we do that are big or small, all help support that.
Love that exposure, and just let the kids be the kids and have some conversation as well, like just have some deep conversation even at the beginning, because sometimes we lead the children not think for themselves, and we just tell them what to do and stuff. So if we have some discussion about what you share, it just you make them think for themselves, and you make them like really appreciate that. Hussein, my friend, what do you think, like to really foster diversity or cross-culture at an early age? What shall we do as parents?
So I would love to share something has been shared this morning with the organization I'm working with as a volunteering, as an ambassador. It's called Dialogue in Brunswick, as everyone knows. They share something about what Maya Angelou said. She said, it is time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity there is a beauty and there is a strength. So that means as a young age, when like directly when you was born and you starting growing up, it's time for you as a parent to start teaching your son or your daughter like what the diversity is and how your daughter or son have to be and because like to be with other different cultures, how they met. Because it's very important because they have to, when they go to school, they have to study with other people from different cultures. They have to know they can begin friends with people from different countries, and that's something have to start on education at home. So the parents have to teach their kids at the early age when the little children.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hussein, for sharing that. It's children is our leaders. Children are future leaders, and if really they are equipped with the right tools, if you are equipped at an early age to what does diversity mean, or if we do that one at school, and I see the school system, they are doing pretty good job, like for doing like sometimes they are doing some project for the kids, and the kids do like about your country, and with all the poster and stuff, and you see the children really get excited and want to know like about, let's say, about Germany, Netherlands, Morocco, or Cote d'Ivoire, and they get excited. Oh, that's really amazing. I would love to talk more about this, but I think our break is coming soon, and we will see you back after 2 minutes. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Hello. This is Ali Tarnishi at Connect with Ali show, as we were discussing about diversity, inclusion, equity, and community, and we are having amazing guests here. We're talking about those topics. And we are back, and we were discussing, the last question was about what is some of the thing that we do to teach diversity at an early age. And some great point was shared by my amazing guests, like exposure, like teaching them at an early age, like just collection and stuff like that. And that just will bring me to the next question. What is some of the activity that we would like to see in the community that foster diversity, inclusion, and equity? What is some of the activity that we would like to see in the community to foster diversity, inclusion, and equity?
So I guess I shared one over the break.
Yeah, I would like you to share that.
So one activity that I've seen is a human library. Mm-hmm. So you, instead of taking out a book from the library, you'd find a subject, and then you'd end up sitting at a table with a person that could talk about their experience with that subject. So if we're talking about like cultural diversity, you might have people that come from a bunch of different countries all over the world. Maybe they're, maybe they've immigrated to Canada, maybe they're in the process of getting their citizenship or something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're an international student, but it's an opportunity to have a conversation with someone that you might not otherwise that you might not otherwise have a conversation with. And that can be that can be about cultural diversity. We can look at like all different things that fall under that umbrella of diversity and all those different intersections. So
I love that. That's really amazing. That will get people engaged in the conversation. You don't know somebody, and it's just like, okay, let's just talk about that. And people, when they don't know other people, they become more, especially if the topic is interesting, they become like more talking and stuff like that. I really like that. A human library. Amazing. Diana or Hussein? But some of the activity we would like to see in our community to foster diversity, inclusion, and equity.
Do you want to go first?
Man first.
Yeah, I can go. Just give me a minute. You want to know?
For a second.
Can you hear us, Hussein?
Yeah. Hello. So, what kind of activities we have to see in our communities? Like, as if I give my person as an example, I came in Moncton as an immigrant. So I do when I go to school. And middle high school, or university, I do I do a lot of work with immigrants from different countries, from Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, from Congo, from Senegal, from Mali, from Tunisia. So, and I do work with I work with before with the New Brunswick African Association and Fredericton. So what we done before, we done a two festival. It's called NB Afro Fest. Mm-hmm. What NB Afro Fest is the activities of a concert of different musicians from different countries. They come to Moncton or D.I.C.E because we done it in a different city. well, he started in Fredericton, then he crossed in Moncton Dieppe. So we do that festival to show to people, to the Canadian people, like what the different cultures have, so the people can learn more about different cultures. When we have musicians. So I was involved in that festival for about like 2 years on a roll. Because of COVID, unfortunately, is no show anymore. And also at school and at University of Moncton, at University of Moncton, we have a show we call Soirée Internationale, International Night,
Okay.
where that is organized at University of Moncton, and everyone is welcome to come to see different cultures, to share, to eat food from different countries. Also, at my school, when I went to my high school, it's called École D.I.C.E in Moncton. We do a similar event called Soirée multiculturelle. So, multicultural evening that we invite everyone from the community to come see what the different countries students have to provide or have to learn to us. So that's kind of different cultures we can show to people.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Hussein. Those really some nice activity, and with COVID it stopped that. Yes, that's international night or soirée internationale. That was amazing. Like just people get together from different country, and they have like a nice with DJ and stuff. You choose your music. It was amazing. Diana used to do something like that, like at the beginning, like it was like a potluck or something, or all. Yeah, tell us a little bit about about that. That's some.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The beginning when we immigrated here from the Netherlands, I was very lonely, and I wasn't allowed to work. I didn't have a work permit like my husband, and I noticed that everyone in my area, in my neighborhood, they were all working, you know. So after a little while, some brainstorming, I decided to start a newcomers group. It's not something new or novel, it has been around for a long time, but I wanted people to help integrate, and so Canadians and immigrants, refugees, anybody could come, and it was mostly women, but sometimes families, and we would have potlucks.
You were not diverse, they were just women, no man, huh?
Yeah, sometimes, we had like different occasions. Sometimes it was just the women, because most of the women weren't allowed to work, you know, so it really helped them to start to feel at home.
Sense of belonging.
Yes, it's very important. And then sometimes we had the kids and the husbands were allowed to come to work. But at a certain point, the Moncton market was so nice to have us use their kitchen. And once a month we were getting together and we would cook together. We would cook together. Amazing. And so it was 3 ladies or men would choose a meal from their own country or culture.
Okay.
And then we would share it with the group.
Nice.
And it was very nice.
Nice. That just that's from the beginning.
It was a lot of fun, and I miss it sometimes.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I would like to have that back.
Yeah. Yes.
Because at the beginning you share the diversity is the spice of life, flavor of life, and that's food and music make a big difference.
Exactly. And I think when we are casually together, that's when you really can bond. Then, you know, you're just having fun and eating together and sharing a meal, and you're learning something, and your taste is different.
100%.
Meal. So, and your idea I find amazing. I just pictured it, Krista, in my head that maybe I've seen it somewhere. People just, after COVID is over, obviously, just randomly volunteer, and in the summer they sit on the sidewalk at a table for an hour, and people can come and sit with them and ask them questions about their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
The human library.
Yeah.
But then in the summer on the patios.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
On Main Street.
think they start that is it in Norway or something. I thought I saw that
Yeah,
somewhere in Norway.
well, no, it's not my idea.
No, but just the transit for sharing that idea. That's really a good idea, Chris. I thought I saw that somewhere, but that's really something that we can implement here in the community.
Yeah, but in school.
And I don't know if it might have been done maybe like a couple years ago at the library or something, like the
Moncton library.
yeah, but I haven't seen one in a while. I mean, especially with like COVID and things, there's some new challenges of figuring out how we communicate with each other and especially like connecting with strangers. But I think
that's something we really would like to see in our community and just like even.
And can I add something?
100%.
Yes, Ali, thanks. So we came here 18 years ago, and I didn't know what to expect. But the people here are extremely welcoming. Like my oldest, he was 7 when he went to elementary school, and the first day he said, "I never want to go back. I love it here."
That's amazing.
So when you really say like, "What would you like to change?" Well, I think not much. I think we are really well on our way in this area.
100%.
I really do. So,
the Maritime are one of the most friendly people, like in Canada or even in the world. Like that's what's make New Brunswick is a friendly, good place to live and to just be like we need just like kind of like to get to understand each other and educate ourselves as immigrant and educate as well Canadian about our culture, and that's exactly the point of those conversations, because sometimes like it could be just a misunderstanding because of some of the stuff that we do it as a cultural thing. I shared it in few episodes that in Morocco or in some African country, if I look at you in the eyes, it considered disrespect for us back home, especially for the elderly. So, but here in Canada, if you don't look in the eyes, it's considered disrespect. So some students, you see, they can't look at the teacher, and the teacher think they are disrespecting them. But for them, it's like they don't want to disrespect the teacher. So when you get to understand that, don't really get like that student like, oh, he's not disrespectful, he's the bad boy, but it's just like stuff like that. And I had a hard time with that when I came here. I was like, there was like people think they come disrespecting them, but it's just like the culture. So I changed that because I learned that the culture in Canada is to get people to trust you and really know you are telling the truth. You have to look at them in the eyes. So
yes, but that's also interesting, right? When we can share the differences.
100%. Our differences are yeah, exactly. Our differences and the uniqueness is who that make us who we are. Brother Hussein.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What do you think of these differences or uniqueness that sometimes like we bring to Canada, and we maybe they don't understand if we don't really explain or educate them or educate ourselves about? Is there anything from back home that's maybe happened, like looking in the eyes or something?
I can say like is people back home in Africa, they do know Canada, but usually they don't know a lot of provinces before coming here. I would give example like it's not everyone knows like what is New Brunswick. When you say you're going to New Brunswick or you're going to Moncton, it's not a lot of people in Africa that know where is it. But when you're telling people like I'm going to leave, they mostly know like big cities, Toronto, Montreal, or like Ottawa, the capital. But with the time, when the people from the immigration department, from New Brunswick immigration department, when we're going there to promote the New Brunswick province, so now people have to now getting to know more like better, especially the cultures of New Brunswick. Like we see the Acadian, so les Acadiens en français, and the francophones from different countries. So les francophones de différents pays, the francophones from different countries. Also, the Canadian people from different communities too, that from New Brunswick. As me, as example, I came with my family when I was 12 years old. So I couldn't know what is New Brunswick, what is New Brunswick. So when I started growing up, I started to learn more, and I went to school. I do take some history classes, so I trying to learn by myself what the really province is. But Canada is very beautiful. As I said before, I work on the immigration field. So every time I do talk with some immigrants to come to Canada, I have to promote like some provinces. Like right now, I'm working with two provinces. I'm working with Quebec, and I'm also working with New Brunswick. So I do promote people to come to New Brunswick to go. Either way, they're gonna come to study, to work, or to living with families. So for me, it's a great pleasure and it's an honor for me to promote Canada as my country now because I came here as an immigrant and now a Canadian. So I want to share that passion and I want to share my story. I want to share the other immigrant stories. What is beautiful about Canada by living here or studying here, or also I like working here.
Thank you very much, Hussein, for sharing that. Canada is really an amazing country, and it's a country of diversity. Today, we were doing a little documentary outside, and they asked people in Centennial Park, and one guy told him, what is diversity? And he said, diversity is Canada. Said, you're it's true. I think a lot of people love Canada because of the diversity, because like it just like people feel that the sense of belonging, respected, and so we have 1 minute before our break. What you guys would like to say, just like as adding to what Mr. Hussein said, or diversity, quick.
Do you have anything?
I'm not sure. I think we're talking a lot about like, you know, I really love the community that we live in, and I think it is a great place. But I think that like accountability is also really important, and continuing to have these conversations, and especially if we're looking at like Canada as a whole, we're talking a lot about like Indigenous rights and things right now, and I think that like accountability piece is still something that we need to stay on top of uplifting the voices of those around us, and yeah.
100%, my friend Krista. It's accountability and just knowing that we come so far, this far, and there is still a lot to learn, and
Absolutely.
that's just part of who we are as a human, and we learn about each other, and we keep striving to learn more and more, because that's how we do it. And our break is cutting me off, so the producer yelling at me, it's break time, so we are be back. Thank you very much, everyone. Hello, this is Ali Tarnishi at Connect with Ali show, and we were discussing diversity, inclusion, and equity with these amazing guests here, Diana and Krista. And we were just discussing about what is some of the activity we would like to see in Moncton, in our community, and both the guests, Hussein, Krista, and Diana really share some great point. And this is just will lead us to the next question: how does equity support diversity and inclusion? How does equity support diversity and inclusion?
Well, shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just
Go for it.
going with it.
Yeah, go for it.
I think when everyone feels included and equal, then everyone is feeling comfortable to step out and tap into their gifts. I think everyone has special gifts. And together we can, you know, when everybody is feeling confident enough
100%.
to share their gifts and to be who they really are and, you know, really authentic, then what was the question again?
Yeah, it's like how equity support diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, then everyone feels at home and included, has a voice, and yeah, to me that is a real good society with democracy and cooperation, I guess.
I love that. So authenticity, and when people feel they are respected and they feel belong, they can dive into their gift.
Yes, especially
Excellent.
belonging is very important. Yeah.
Love it. Love it, Diana. Krista, my friend, how does equity support diversity and inclusion?
So I think like equity is that is making sure that everyone has access to the tools they need for an equal outcome. So if we're looking at diversity as the what, we know that some people might need different supports to be able to feel included and part of the community. So equity is really how we get to that outcome.
100%, because we could talk as much as we want about diversity and inclusion, but if we don't really do some equitable practices and intentional inclusion, all that talk will fall short. Hussein, what do you have to say about this, my friend?
I would like both ladies have saying great points. About equity is like people have to feel very welcome here. They're living on their communities. Even if you're a newcomer, you don't have to worry about anything. I know you have a struggle when you come here, but you have to, after that, when you engage, you have to be involved. You have to learn people. You have to make friends. You meeting friends, Canadian friends. So everything you do, everything have to be included because inclusion, without your inclusion. Without your inclusion and diversity is no equity. But that thing is both important because we've seen in the municipal election, we have seen a lot of candidates from different countries, and I was very happy to see that because I was involved with some people campaigning, and that was the first time in 2021 we've seen a lot of diverse candidates from different countries are putting their name. And I hope in the next election in 4 years, more people will come out and they will put their names because it's very important to include everything, especially with all the municipal. And I was happy with to see both candidates who has been elected. From Chipagan, the new mayor, Mr. Kassim Doumbia from Côte d'Ivoire, and from Saint John, it was Mrs. Paula. Paula, she was elected, and Paula Evans, she was elected as a new councillor in Saint John, and it was an indigenous woman who has been elected to a city in New Brunswick.
Thank you for bringing that, Hussein, because it's this election was really first to so many things, like the three city, Moncton, Fredericton, and St. John. We have three lady, like St. John was like a lady mayor, and Fredericton and Moncton, and also like we have a lot of young candidate. We have Krista, and we have Diana Blanco. We have also, you mentioned the African Canadian Kassim, he's the mayor of Shippagan, and we have the councillor in St. John, Paula, as a Muslim, Paula Redwan, I think. So the indigenous also, is that in which was that in? But there is an
It
indigenous.
was on Do, I think Do, I have the name, but
Yeah. So in total, it's amazing to see that. It's in total. It's not just like a certain people. It's nice to see like.
Town, yes.
Jordan, thank you, Hussein. It's nice to see that actually in equity supporting. That's answer the question. Equity supporting diversity and inclusion. It's not just like it's not like just like mostly always like Caucasian or different. I think that's always the stereotype that will always have the same people always like elected. But it's nice to see that. And this just will bring me to the next question, my friend. How can we challenge stereotype and promote sensitivity and inclusion? How can we challenge stereotype and promote sensitivity and inclusion? Anybody can jump to that. I know stereotype sometimes like our brain condition, and we just like always like pre-assume or judge without really like unconscious bias. Sometimes we have that. So how can we challenge that stereotype and promote really sensitivity and inclusion?
I think transparency and listening,
yeah,
communication, authenticity, and getting a face instead of a stereotype. Getting a face or faces instead of stereotypes. So that we actually are maybe able in the future, instead of grouping and labeling, can identify people, souls, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I am Dutch. Doesn't mean that I'm like all the Dutch people. Not at all.
No, it's,
I'm very different, but you know what I mean? So, yeah.
100% listening, transparency, and just get to know people who they are, in the core of who they are.
Give them a face, and that's what you're doing here, is giving people a face instead of grouping this group and that group and that group, which is normal in a way, because our minds like to group. To, in a way, keep us safe, which is an illusion.
100%.
Because we are one people, we are humanity. And of course there is diversity and everyone is unique. But of course it's easy for me to speak because I'm white. So, you know, I think it's very important to first have all the pain and the suffering to come up. And to be discussed, like just with the indigenous people,
100%.
that we can have discussions about it, and that we come together, we can see if we can somehow heal the pain, heal it together,
100%.
instead of wiping it under the rug, what has been done, and has been done in Congo, Morocco, my country, Canada. It's everywhere. But I think this pandemic has caused a lot of us to be still and listen in. You know,
100%.
That's why we were isolated. So to find our voice and to be still, because everyone was always rushing, stressing, and all of a sudden the entire world was put to an halt.
100%.
So now it's time to do soul searching and see all the suffering that we see in the news, in all the different groups.
100%. So listening, transparency, and as Krista mentioned earlier, accountability. So when we are accountable and really facing what happened and move forward. Krista, anything to add?
I mean, I think you covered a lot of it there. I think like when I think of like being still and listening in, I think of that like self-reflection, and you know, when you are listening and hearing things, kind of taking that moment to look inwards and to see, you know, if you're feeling challenged or triggered by something, where's that stemming from? Are you, is it because of maybe a stereotype or something? Is it, taking that moment to kind of talk to yourself before acting?
100%. And that's what we are doing here, my friend. We are just like, instead of always asking the question, why this is happening, what can we do to make things change? So we are starting conversation and dialogue that lead to change, and change usually it's not easy because change take time, change take conversation, change take dialogue. Hussein, my friend, what do you have to add to that? How can we challenge stereotype and promote sensitivity and inclusion? We have
I think it's very good to be open-minded, open-minded with different cultures or different people. Like I know now we do have to, when we come to a new country, we do have to learn the new cultures, and also we do have to not forget our culture back from home. But it's very important when we learn about new cultures, we have to be open-minded, we have to work together, and we do have to support each other. That's like, when I say that inclusion make great, when it's diversity, when people are working together, collaborate together, everything is beautiful to see.
I like that. Working together and open mind. And yes, we have 2 minutes, and what you guys really shared, it's amazing. That's what to get really diversity to the core, to thrive, is we have to focus and be open mind, work together, and focus just being human. Be kind, because kindness, we're born kind, but to choose to be kind, it's something that we have to choose to do. So a lot of, there is sometimes people they go like through discrimination, racism, and all that stuff, but it is happening because lack of education. It's happening because sometimes they have like some fear, as you mentioned earlier, and they just to hide that fear, they use it on other people. And let's be open, let's work together, let's know that community come together as a diverse, inclusive, and equal. And let's dance together all the time to make this a good community, which is already a good community, but just like to add more activity that we would like to see our community working together. And I would like to thank Diana for being here with us today. I would like to thank Krista, and I would like to thank Hussein, and I would like to thank Vanessa as well, our camera lady, Joe, our producer, and Marty, and everybody. So we have a diverse, inclusive group here. So thank you very much, and till next time, have a wonderful day. Let's dice together next time on the next show. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure.
Good job. Thank you.